Jiang You entered a cultivation novel and became the key to opening the male protagonist's path of counterattack. But Jiang You, who has read the original work, knows well that his canon fodder is just a stepping stone for the male lead, and he was scolded by the male lead after only a few chapters of appearance. Fortunately, relying on memory, I managed to avoid the disaster and save my life. Jiang You originally wanted to have peace with the male lead and had nothing to do with each other. But little did he know that he accidentally attracted the female leads prepared by the author for the male lead to his side. This jade spirit cheong fruit only solidified in the early hours of this morning. Try it now. This is my newly brewed peach fruit wine, the only one in the world. Xiao Yu, why don't I give you a back beating? Jiang Yu fell into the arms of the beauty, eating hot pot and singing, sighing as he watched the enraged former male lead. Opportunities are not without you, but who makes you useless? Keywords of the novel. After soaring with the fairies, the male protagonist of Shuangwen cried and went blind without a pop-up window. After soaring with the fairies, the male protagonist of Shuangwen cried and went blind. Download the complete text. After soaring with the fairies, the male protagonist of Shuangwen cried and went blind to read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Wild Men, Unable to Save. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Wild men, unable to save, clouds and peaks form the sea, and the bell is graceful and graceful. The rich spiritual energy covers the mountain gate of Tianji sect, and the mountain protection formation presents a faint blue color, beautiful but full of crisis. Those who dare to intrude will be instantly crushed into powder by the large formation as soon as they approach. Miss Jiang. Miss Jiang. A little girl in yellow clothes, who was only 8 or 9 years old and wore a bun, ran with short legs vigorously, breaking into a familiar cave all the way. She stopped at the bedside and said, "The wild man you picked up can finally take a pill." After she finished speaking for a while, the tightly covered blanket on the bed suddenly burst into a muffled voice, "I'll let him die." Master said that although he was seriously injured, he couldn't die, the little girl said naively. Master also said that you picked up the wild man and you have to take responsibility, so go and see him quickly. Children's voices are sharp and their chatter has a strong penetrating power, which cannot be ignored. Jiang You lifted the blanket and his face was filled with a despairing expression of disgust towards the world. She slept half asleep again. Why did she wake up in this damn book? Jiang You was originally busy with a project in Century City, but after working with his team for 2 months, he lost about 10 pounds and finally successfully delivered the project. The boss had a good conscience and gave each member of the group 3 days of paid leave. Jiang You was satisfied and lay up his corpse at home. When hungry, order takeout, when tired, go to bed, watch TV shows and read novels. She can even stay up for a day except for necessary things. Although it may seem like a disability, she is happy and her entire life has reached its peak. While searching for a book in Shuhuang, she accidentally clicked into the mail channel and came across a sand-carved harem text. The male protagonist Qin Xian has been a useless cultivator since childhood, gaining countless benefits along the way and experiencing the bitterness of the world. Unexpectedly, due to an assassination attempt, he unexpectedly broke his body seal after his life was on the brink of death, and from then on, he rose all the way up, becoming a genius among the people. It was also on this road that he gained a lot of love. There are saints of a certain tribe, princesses of a certain country, talented female cultivators of a certain sect, and even the queen of the Snow Fox clan in the demon world has been kept by him. There are not only these people who can be counted as his official partners, but also countless female partners. Those people either have sex with him for a while, or have sacrificed their lives to save him, coming and going in a hurry. Although they are gone, they have left their bodies behind. The plot of this book is not very friendly for female readers. The female characters around the male protagonist in the book seem to be pure and intellectually disabled, all of whom have lost their rationality in love. They believe whatever the male protagonist says. No matter how much the male protagonist disappoints them and ignores them, they all obediently stay by their side, willing to give everything they have, and can even deliver family resources with peace of mind. He could make their little faces turn red with just one or two romantic words, his eyes full of emotion, and he pounced on him with a whimper, then brewed them with soy sauce. The sand sculpture text is really sand sculpture, it's a lot of nonsense, but the author's style is very humorous, and even under the balance, he can keep reading it. Sometimes reading novels doesn't require a brain, just relax and be happy. Jiang You was so happy while complaining with his friend's roast that he unknowingly read half of the book. I don't know whether it's roast too much. When Jiang You woke up, he found that he entered the world of this novel called Absolute Lead. I really don't want to practice. Moreover, she also became a female supporting character named Jiang You who died tragically after offending the male lead. Jiang You couldn't accept the reality of his fantastical storytelling, so he fell asleep again, hoping to wake up and return to reality. But little did I know that after being called up by my junior sister, I realized that I was still in this world. Has he woken up? Jiang You asked his junior sister Io after silence. No, he's still sleeping soundly and doesn't look like he's about to wake up. Io blinked his eyes and said, Senior sister Jiang, that wild man looks so handsome. Did you pick him up because of this? Do you want to be his bride? I'm pretty good at being his mother. Ah Yao, remember, don't pick up men outside like a senior sister in the future. Jiang You sneered and had already lifted the blanket to get up. We can't lie down anymore, the crisis is ahead, we need to solve it first. Why? Io was puzzled. Because it has been proven that any woman who picks up wild men and goes home has no good ending. Jiang You said that he had already left his cave and walked towards the bamboo house behind. In the book Absolute Lead, any young and good-looking woman is either someone who becomes the male lead or someone who offends the male lead and is killed by him. The character, Jiang You, is the latter. Despite saving the male lead and accidentally breaking his body seal, he still died at his hands. Jiang You doesn't even know if he should be grateful not to be one of the male lead's harems, or if he should mourn the tragic ending of this character. But fortunately, everything still has time to change. Pushing open the door, I walked into the bamboo house and immediately smelled the strong aroma of pills inside. Senior Sister Jiang. A mortal young attendant by the bed was cleaning, and when he saw Jiang You, he stood up and saluted. Well, how's he doing? Jiang You asked as he approached the bedside and looked at the young man who had been seriously injured and unconscious. After seeing his face clearly, Jiang You couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. The nose bridge is high and straight, the face shape is three-dimensional, the eyebrows are superior, and the lip shape is as if it were painted. Even with closed eyes, one can still see the handsome face. Perhaps due to being injured, my face turned a bit pale, with a unique beauty of weakness. TSK, truly the protagonist in the book, he is indeed outstanding in appearance, and even in his own world, he is at the level of a big star. No wonder the original owner, who was unpredictable and arrogant, was willing to save him without any trouble after seeing his face, and even spent a lot of precious pills to save him. Unfortunately, I saved a white-eyed wolf. His breathing has stabilized a lot, and all his injuries have been treated with medicine. Senior sister, he has also used your pill. He should wake up within today. Senior sister, don't worry. Fan Sure answered, then smiled and said, when he wakes up and finds out that it was senior sister who saved him, he will definitely be very grateful. Jiang Yu's gaze quietly turned towards the person on the bed, and under his gaze, he indeed noticed a slight movement in his eyelids. Pretend to sleep. Jiang Yu sneered in his heart. How did Jiang Yu die in the original work? It's because of the sentence she was supposed to say next, who's worried about him. The purple extreme Qianquan bracelet used by this person is a rare and good thing. If it weren't for that, how could I have spent so much to save him? I would have slapped him away long ago. End of this chapter. Does chapter 2 look good? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Does chapter 2 look good? The purple extreme Qianquan bracelet is a very special storage space, which is related to its owner. When the owner dies, it also dies together. If someone outside the owner wants to obtain this bracelet and open up space, they can only ask the owner to voluntarily revoke their identity. Otherwise, whether they snatch it or kill to obtain treasure, they will not be able to use it for themselves. This bracelet alone is already selling for thousands of high-quality crystals, which is much more valuable than the medicine the original owner used for him. It was precisely because of these words that Qin Xian, who had just woken up, heard the original owner and secretly felt a murderous intent. However, at this time it was in the Tianji sect, and Qin Xian, an outsider, couldn't just take action here. So he persevered and waited for a month until the original owner ambushed him on the way to Fengming Palace and killed him. But in fact, the original owner was a stubborn and proud person. Although his temperament was a bit harsh, at most he refused to save himself when he died, so he wouldn't really kill him. That's just because she's a bit shy and doesn't want to admit the fact that she's worried about him in front of others. The arrogant girl's words are deceitful, it's nothing but normal. In the plot, on the way to Fengming Palace, Qin Xian finally calmly explained the reason for wanting to kill her before taking action to kill the original owner. The original owner was shocked and frightened upon hearing this, and quickly cried out the truth, "No, it's not like that. I saved you because I liked you at first sight, which was why I brought you back to the sect for treatment. So, it's just because I'm too embarrassed to admit. I never expected you to misunderstand because of this." But Qin Xian didn't believe this. Or to put it another way, he believed he had this charm, but he adhered to the principle of preferring to kill wrongly rather than letting go, and cutting grass to eradicate the root. He still took the life of the original owner without considering the fact that the other party had indeed saved him. Jiang You regained his senses and saw the attendant smiling at him. She just spoke up and said, "Just save him, whether he's a human or some kind of dog. Since I've encountered him, I'll always save him. It's just that this person has cost me a lot of miraculous medicine these days. Remember to ask him to pay when he wakes up." Fan Shi was stunned for a moment, but Jiang Yu was muttering to himself with his fingers broken, 2 Xiaozhuan pills and 1 qi tonifying pill per day, totaling 5 pills. Plus. Oh, my master even scolded me for saving someone recklessly, and he has to compensate me for this. Anyway, remember to collect 20,000 pieces of medium-grade crystal stones from him, which translates to 200 pieces of high-grade crystal stones. Fan Shi widened his eyes and said, 20,000. Cough cough. Qin Xian couldn't put on any more and slowly sat up, covering his chest. His face was pale and his eyes were cold. "Thank you very much, my friend, for saving your life. 20,000 crystals, Qin Xian will bring them on his own. You're awake." The attendant was surprised. Jiang Yu also put on an unexpected look, but then showed a satisfied expression of financial obsession. "That would be the best. Since you're awake, leave quickly. This day is not where you should stay." Qin Xian's face darkened a bit, and when he saw Jiang Yu, his stunning expression also faded away, leaving only contempt. This nun has a seductive and charming appearance, but unfortunately her mouth is full of unpleasant words. "I'll leave now, don't bother you too much." He lifted the blanket and stood up, feeling weak and stumbling for a moment. After barely standing firm, a strange color appeared on his face. "This time, I was assassinated by my clan brother and fell off a cliff, my life hanging on the line. I don't know how I actually fell into the realm of the Tianji sect. Fortunately, there is no concern for one's life. Just. How does he feel that something is wrong with his body?" Jiang Yu looked at him coldly, knowing that the seal inside the male lead's body was probably lifted. The original owner spent a lot of miraculous medicines to save him, and it was one of the medicines that accidentally caused its seal to loosen. Before today, he was just an unpopular scrap in a big family, but from today on, it's different. In the future, I estimate that I will often hear news related to the male lead. Okay, give me the crystal. Jiang You extends his hand. Qin Xian couldn't bear to see Jiang Yu's greedy and ruthless face. He coldly paid 20,000 medium-grade crystals and then waved his sleeve away. After he left, Jiang Yu casually put away the crystal and fell into contemplation. The male lead, even a beautiful woman, cannot give him a good face, otherwise he will be perceived as having a crush on me. Once he thinks so, he will definitely take this woman and bring her into the harem. So Jiang Yu knew that only by doing something that disgusted him could he escape and no longer be remembered by him. The lion opened his mouth and demanded a huge amount of crystal. He repaid his life-saving kindness and successfully made him feel annoyed, but he did not have any intention of killing. Well, perfect. Jiang Yu was quite satisfied, and then something came to his mind. He walked over to the table and looked in the mirror. A seductive and despicable face suddenly appeared inside. The fox has a hazy eye, a small and pretty nose, and rosy lips that are about to drip. She made a few more expressions, and as her eyes flowed, an endless stream of rippling charm captivated her soul. Jiang Yu collapsed his face, feeling extremely depressed. Growing up like this seems a bit troublesome. After looking in the mirror, Jiang Yu stood up straight and coldly met the infatuated gaze of the attendant. As attendants, they are often descendants of external sect leaders. As they are born ordinary and cannot cultivate without immortal roots, they are recommended by them to the sect and then assigned by the sect leaders to work in various parts of the internal sect. These attendants, with men and women, are often people from a pure and reliable family background. They entered the sect at the age of a few and studied alongside the senior attendant. When they reached the age of 10, they would be sent to various cultivators' caves to serve in person. Compared to other ordinary people who struggle to make a living, being a servant is already a very good way out. Not only does it have a decent job, but if you serve the cultivators well, you can also accumulate some rewards over the years. If there is anything really important, you may even receive their care. When they get older, they can retire and receive enough spiritual stones for the rest of their lives. The attendant in front of her is assigned to Jiang You Cave, 2 years younger than her, and has been serving by her side for 5 years. Just like most cultivators, the original master didn't even consider mortals, so the servants were just servants for her, and she hadn't seen them in person for so many years. Does it look good? Jiang Yu asked. Fan Shi was taken aback for a moment, then his face turned pale with a swoop. With a thud, he knelt down to the ground and said, "Qianyan, damn it, senior sister." Fan Shi can only barely count as a half-member of the immortal sect, and in fact, he has no master-disciple relationship with anyone. This, senior sister, is just a convenient and respectful title. What are you afraid of? I'm just asking you, do I look good? Jiang Yu chuckled and crouched on the ground, looking at him level and asking. Jiang Yu remembers that the ordinary attendant of the original owner seemed not to be an ordinary person. The free period is 1 update per day, and updates will be added when requested by the website. Everyone should try not to indulge in literature. Nowadays, the rules on websites are different. During the free period, we don't look at favorites, recommendations, or comments, but only look at 3 indicators. Monthly pass, tracking reading, the actual number of readers who track the latest chapters every day, and reward amount. Only with good data can books be supported. So I thought about it and decided to fight it out, before putting the book on the shelves, set a bonus rule. 1 bonus for every 10,000 coins. Rewards before 9 p.m. every day will be added on the same day, while those that are outdated will be added on the same day, and those that are too late will not be added the next day. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Yaochen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Yaochen. About 5 years later, a young master of the Jiang You pavilion named Zhen Yu found the Guiyuan sect where the male master Qin Xian was located and directly submitted a battle proposal, stating that he would fight against him. At that time, Qin Xian had already reached the bone training realm of the third realm, and his reputation had begun to show. He was also an elite disciple of the entire Guiyuan sect and was highly valued by the sect leaders. So when the battle post was submitted, the entire Guiyuan sect was in an uproar, surprised by how much the young master couldn't think of it and why he came to challenge Qin Xian. Jiang You Pavilion is spread throughout the mainland, operating businesses such as spirit grass, demon beasts, and elixirs. It also holds 2 spiritual veins and has a great reputation. And the origin of this Shen Yu Shao Guzhu is a mystery. Someone from the Jiang You Gu once said that he had never heard of this person's name before, or was he suddenly found by the Shen Guzhu 5 years ago, and since then he has become the Shao Guzhu in charge of Jiang You Gu. It is said that he is young, but in fact, the old cabinet owner has already delegated power to him. If it were not for his young age, perhaps the cabinet owner's position would have already changed. With such an enviable status, why risk your life to join the battle? But soon everyone found out. In the martial arts arena of the Guiyuan sect, a young man with a slender figure but a handsome face spoke up in front of everyone's eyes, "Senior sister Jiang You of Tianji sect has shown me a great kindness. Since she died at your hands, I will compete with you. If I can kill you, then I will take revenge for her. If my strength is not enough to lose to you, then it will be considered that I am fully grateful and will not owe you again." Qin Xian was taken aback by the words and carefully looked at Zhen Yu before recognizing him. "Are you the mortal attendant?" At that time, he was rescued by Jiang Yu to the heavenly extreme sect, but in reality, he was served by a mediocre attendant who could not remember his name. And this Lord Zhen Yu seems to have the same appearance as the ordinary attendant in my impression. "It's me," Zhen Yu admitted. "For someone as arrogant as Jiang Yu, are you going to compete with me in life and death? You know, you may never come back. If you owe me kindness, I will repay it. Why be afraid of death? Anyway, since you took care of me back then, I will save your life." Qin Xian raised his eyebrows and said. The other party remained silent, holding their sword with cold and sharp eyebrows and eyes. The sword was fierce and airtight. This battle was quite exciting, and no one expected this young master to have such swordsmanship and strength. Only from his sword style can we tell that he is a young master who has understood the meaning of swordsmanship. In the end, it was Qin Xianxing who won, but he fulfilled his promise and did not take Zhen Yu's life. Zhen Yu and Qin Xian were both injured in this battle, but Zhen Yu was even more severely injured. If it weren't for Qin Xian's intention to stay behind, Zhen Yu would have died on the spot. Shen Yuemu, who had been hit by several swords, stood up and gave Qin Xian a faint glance. With a pale face, he lightly jumped off the stage, leaving only one sentence behind: "Since we have already repaid our kindness, we will have no further involvement in the future." Jiang Yu may have many shortcomings, but when he was bullied and beaten by external disciples at a young age, it was only she who extended a helping hand. Although she looked at him with a look of disgust on her face, covered in blood stains, and threw a healing pill like a charity, it was actually the pill that saved his life. Zhen Yu doesn't like Jiang Yu's temperament, but he dare not forget his life-saving kindness. Since she was brutally murdered, what does he consider himself to be? Now that what needs to be done has been done, the old favor he owes will be repaid. After recalling the plot in the book, Jiang Yu's eyes twitched slightly. She looked at Qianyan kneeling on the ground, curious about how Qianyan had transformed into the young master Zhen Yu, and how he had quickly cultivated the sword intent. There is no explanation in the book about this point. After all, he is just a small supporting actor. However, what Jiang Yu knew was that after the martial arts competition, Qin Xian greatly appreciated Zhen Yu, and Zhen Yu also remembered Qin Xian's small kindness that day. Many years later, when Qin Xian faced a desperate situation, he provided a large amount of precious goods for free to help him turn the situation around. He and Qin Xian cannot be called friends, but they both have mutual affection and are considered a male supporting character who is well liked by readers in the book. Senior sister, it's naturally beautiful. Qian Yan lowered his head and his voice appeared very low. Just now, the woman with a strange temper sat in front of the mirror, her expression changing from agile to charming, her smile like a flower, but it was different from the usual frowning and aloof demeanor. He is just a lowly attendant, and Jiang You doesn't even want to lift his eyelids when facing him. How could he ever smile in front of him like this? He was only momentarily absent-minded before staring blankly. He didn't expect to be caught by Jiang You. Now, I don't know what she's going to do with herself. Qian Yan glanced at the silk feather and red feather on the woman's waist, and his heart sank. Really? I think so too. Jiang Yu smiled and stood up. Get up, clean up this place. Just throw out the things of that wild man just now, so as not to be unlucky. After speaking, the person had already walked out. Qian Yan was stunned and only slowly stood up after silence. Jiang Yu walked out of the bamboo house and closed his eyes. The memories belonging to the original owner in her mind are merging with her. As long as she closes her eyes and thinks carefully, she can remember all the things that the original owner has experienced. Strangely, just like how he inexplicably dressed himself, the original owner's death is completely traceable. It's like both of them just sleeping in their respective rooms, and when they wake up, the world changes. I have become a river tour of the Tianji sect, but what about the original river tour? Is it difficult to go to China and become oneself? Scratching his head, Jiang Yu didn't dwell on the unknown matter and walked to the cave where his master was. This world is called Yaochen continent, which is divided into 5 continents. The location of Tianji sect is located in the western Luyun continent. This is a world of cultivating immortals. As long as the body can communicate with the spiritual body, one can cultivate. A physique that is completely unaware of the spiritual body is called a stone body, destined to only become a lowly mortal. The cultivation level is divided into 9 levels. The first level is the spiritual level, the second level is the condensed chi level, and the third level is the bone training level. These 3 levels are the initial stage of cultivation and also the highest proportion of cultivators. The cultivators are collectively referred to as Dao Jun. The lifespan of Dao Jun can reach up to 300 years. The middle stage of cultivation is the 4th realm of shaping gold, the 5th realm of cauldrons, and the 6th realm of refining gods. The cultivators in these 3 realms are called true rulers. After reaching the realm of refining gods, the lifespan can reach 1,000 years. And there are even fewer people in the later stage who can be called immortal kings. The 7th realm of transformation and contemplation, the 8th realm of stepping on emptiness, and the 9th realm of Hongmeng will be revered by everyone as the immortal lord, with a lifespan of up to 3,000 years. It is an existence that must be worshipped and obeyed by the masses wherever it goes. However, nowadays, there are only 4 remaining Hongmeng realm immortals, all of whom are the ancestors of the top sects in the entire mainland, and their whereabouts are mysterious, making it rare for people to see them. But even if it is an immortal, it is actually just a semi-immortal body, and it is not truly on par with the heavens for longevity and immortality. To become a true immortal, one can only break through the constraints of the heavenly way in this realm and reach a new level by soaring to become an immortal. But in my impression, no one has been able to soar beyond the boundaries for at least 20,000 years. If you have monthly tickets, please give priority to submitting new books. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Ningxin Zhenjun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Ningxin Zhenjun. Master, I'm here. Before arriving at the cave, Jiang You smiled and used his spiritual energy to activate the cave's spiritual bell. In an instant, a bell rang from outside to inside the cave. The door opened in response, and a teasing female voice with annoyance came over. Come on in, when have you been so polite? Jiang Yu walked into the cave and saw 2 young women, Fan Shi, who were serving his master. He nodded and greeted them before taking a big step towards the inner chamber. Leave the two attendants staring at each other, both feeling a bit confused. When did Sister Jiang become so polite? Oh, something happy must have happened today, that's why she's in such a good mood. Master, would you like some tea? Jiang You poured a cup of spiritual tea and handed it to Ningxin Zhenjun with both hands. After looking at her, he lowered his head and lowered his gaze. In the plot, the original owner was killed by Qin Xian. Although Qin Xian did not leave any evidence, the people around the original owner still guessed that he was responsible for the incident. The original owner's life circle was very simple. Although there were enemies in the sect, it was not enough for someone to kill her. Ningxin Zhenjun was eager to be a disciple and suspected that Empress Qin Xian had come to question her. Of course, the male lead denied it and calmly asked her to provide evidence. Ningxin Zhenjun has no evidence, but it does not prevent her from seeking revenge. If Qin Xian dares to kill her disciple privately, then she will kill him privately. But Qin Xian is the male lead with his own aura. As a malicious female supporting master, how could Ningxin Zhenjun kill him? In the end, the person was not killed, but instead, he was killed by the male protagonist's hidden treasure, and perished. Ningxin Zhenjun always has a bad attitude towards the original master, seemingly unable to bear anything. However, in reality, she is the toughest and softest, treating this only disciple as her own daughter in her heart. It is also her own family's responsibility to despise her disciple's arrogance and neglect of cultivation in her daily life. Naturally, she cannot be allowed to be bullied by outsiders. Jiang You saw Ningxin Zhenjun at this moment, and he didn't know if he was influenced by the original owner's memory and her fate in the novel. His nose was a bit sour. The original owner had an unpleasant temperament and could not make sincere friends with her. The people around her either used her or perfunctorily treated her. In this world, the only person who truly treated her may be Ningxin Zhenjun. But the original owner used to dislike his master for being too strict, and even envied other people's gentle and considerate good masters. If she could also know the plot, she wouldn't know what kind of mood she would have. Ningxin looked at the tea and raised her eyebrows, reaching out to take it. Dan Feng looked at her disciple who was feeling a bit off today. Tell me, what trouble have you caused? I didn't cause any trouble. Jiang You stood tall and looked up. I don't know about you yet. If you hadn't caused trouble, would you be talking with your tail between your legs now? Jiang You. She almost wanted to turn back and find her own tail. Is it related to that wild man? Ningxin thought she guessed the truth. Is it because he's dying soon? Or is your pill not enough? It's best to die. Jiang You grumbled and sat down on the nearby stool, pouring himself a cup of tea. He's already gone, he said, puff. How could that happen? Ningxin choked on tea. He woke up, and after asking him for a piece of crystal, I asked him to leave. Didn't you have his idea? How could you easily let him go? Ningxin didn't understand. Don't talk nonsense. I don't have it. Alright, I don't know about you yet. If you don't take a liking to him, would you bother to keep him and even pay for his injuries? Ningxin sneered. Ningxin is a cultivator in the 5th realm. The Thousand Cauldrons realm, which can be considered as an average strength in the cultivation world. But because the higher the realm, the fewer cultivators there are, and the 9th realm, the Hongmeng realm, is so few that it can be ignored. Therefore, the 5th realm is actually considered a master, already surpassing most cultivators. More importantly, Ningxin had already reached the peak of the Thousand Cauldrons realm 6 years ago, and was just a step away from reaching the Refining God realm. Once she reached the Refining God realm, her status would be greatly elevated. As her only disciple, Jiang Yu's identity will also increase accordingly. Well, I was a little worried, but I'm not interested because he opened his left eye first after waking up. Jiang Yu opened his eyes and lied. Ningxin. Are you sick? Master, can I borrow a token? I want to go to the martial arts pavilion. Jiang You said his purpose for coming. What are you doing there? I want to change my cultivation method. Ningxin's expression became solemn, and she frowned. Why did you suddenly make this decision? I actually had this plan for a long time, but I only made a decision now. Master, I don't want to be the bottom performer anymore. Ningxin looked at her for a moment and sighed lightly. Once you change your cultivation method, all your previous cultivation will disappear, and the new cultivation method may not necessarily be completely suitable for you. This may be a waste of effort, so. Have you figured it out? I've figured it out. No matter what the outcome is, I'll accept it. Ningxin remained silent, and after a while, she took off her waist token. Go ahead, I won't be able to help you with this matter. You can choose according to your true intentions, she said. Jiang You accepted the token and nodded. But before going to the martial arts pavilion, there's one more thing. You need to go to Fenglai's gate first and give this basin of Qingxin Xianglan to Fenglu. Ningxin pointed to the windowsill, and suddenly a pot of flowers that were only a circle larger than her palm reached her hand. The slender leaves, delicate as snow like orchids, and a small black cluster of ink blooming in the center, clearly black and white. As it approached, it also emitted an extremely clear and misty aroma, lingering around like water and mist, spinning back and forth, as if it could seep into its limbs and bones through its nose. Take a deep breath and your mind feels much refreshed. Master is really amazing, the Linglan he raised is unparalleled in the whole continent. Jiang You praised. Don't be poor, go quickly, otherwise Fenglu will wait for a long time. Yes, I bid farewell, disciple. Put the Qingxin fragrant orchid into the mustard bag, and Jiang You went straight out of the gate of the Tianji sect. Stepping out of the door and looking back, I felt incredibly towering and even more insignificant. Tianji sect is not among the top 10 sects in the entire continent, but in terms of Luyun Island, it is still good and can rank third. The Fenglai sect that Master just mentioned is the second-ranked sect. Coincidentally, the two sects are very close together, and you can easily reach the city where they are located by taking an intercity teleportation, which takes less than half an hour. Just as he arrived at Fengshe, Jiang You frowned. The male cultivator on the way always stared at her, his eyes narrowed, and the top-down gaze was very annoying. She hadn't regained her senses until she lowered her head and saw that her face turned black. This is a treatment she has never received herself. The original owner's figure and appearance are really eye-catching. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Fenglai Gate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Fenglai Gate. This fairy, I don't know where to go. Can we go together? A man in brocade walked towards Jiang You, shaking his folding fan and looking at her with a smile. Fairy is a commonly used term in the cultivation world for female cultivators, just like calling beauty in modern society. However, in reality, only beautiful nuns are called fairies, and if they are ugly, it is likely that there is only one Taoist friend. According to Jiang Yu's observation, the monks have already washed their bodies with spiritual energy and removed most of the impurities, so their skin looks clean and transparent, and fat and short ones are not common. Like now, the streets are filled with attractive men and women, including the male cultivator who came to approach. I'm going to reincarnate, are we together? Jiang You looked up and asked. Male show. He glanced at Jiang You with a sickly expression, then turned around and left. Jiang You took out a curtain hat from the mustard bag, covering his face and above his waist. When he walked again, he was indeed much cleaner. Excuse me, go to Wushuang City. 20 inferior crystals. Given the crystal, Jiang Yu was taken to the teleportation array. I felt dizzy like taking an elevator, but when I recovered, I had already arrived at Wushuang City where Fenglai Gate was located. Walking towards the direction of Fenglai Gate based on memory, while wandering the river, pondering where to go in the future. Firstly, I am also facing a calamity. The original owner was supposed to die on his way to Fengming Palace a month later. Although it seems that I have dispelled Qin Xian's killing intent, 1 month later is a very important time point that cannot be ignored. Only by spending that time peacefully can she truly survive. Now that we have arrived in this world, we can only find a way to survive. If we want to achieve this, we have to mention the male lead. The original master was just a disciple of the heavenly extreme sect's Thousand Cauldron Realm True Lord, and his aptitude was not outstanding. In contrast, the male master carried a halo on his body, and after lifting the seal, his cultivation progress was even more rapid, with constant adventures. He is currently just a neglected useless member of the Qin family. According to the timeline, he will first be recognized by a powerful expert of the Guiyuan sect with his super qualifications, and he will be brought into the sect to pass on the identity of a disciple to his inner sect. Next, he will return to the Qin family and use his new identity to confront the clan members, seeking justice for his bullied mother, and finding healing potions for his disabled father. Originally, he was going to kill the original owner after this. Jiang You felt that for the next month or so, he would spend the rest of his life in the sect, and after that, he would live his own life. Stay away from the male lead for safety. They are not related to each other, and it is best for them to be safe and sound. Jiang You has no intention of seizing his opportunity or targeting him. Those who read many novels know that whoever touches the protagonist's aura will die, and she doesn't want to die like this. However, in this world where one's strength is low, one cannot survive. It is not feasible to sit and eat until death. Therefore, Jiang Yu believes that his next step is to work hard to cultivate, live well, and see if he can live to become 1,000-year king or 80,000-year turtle. This senior sister, I am Jiang Yu from Qinji sect. On the order of my master Ningxin Zhenjun, I came to deliver the Linglan to Fengsu Zhenjun. Jiang Yu said to the female disciple guarding Fenglai gate. Fenglai sect is full of female cultivators. To enter, one must not only have a spiritual opening, but also have an outstanding appearance, which is almost impossible for other sections. Like this gatekeeper female disciple, with a peach blossom-like face and outstanding temperament, very impressive. Wait a moment, I'll inform Master Feng, said the female disciple. But you need to take off the curtain cap first. Block your face, who knows who this is? Yes. With a light sigh in her heart, Jiang Yu took off her hat and allowed her to scrutinize. As expected, upon seeing her face, the female disciple's gaze lit up instantly. Junior sister's appearance, why did she belong to the Tianji sect? Do you want to consider entering my Fenglai gate, she said enthusiastically. No need, politely declined. I knew it. The original owner has come to Fenglai gate several times before, and every time he comes, he receives this kind of treatment. The gatekeeper disciple is rotated, and she never encounters the same person, so this problem has to be faced repeatedly. The style of Fenglai gate is like this. From top to bottom, when you see a beautiful woman, you can't move on, especially those fairies with different styles. When you see one, you want to persuade them to surrender. There is a big reason why this sect ranks second. The beauties of the sect marry famous male cultivators from all over the continent, and many of them are even seniors at the level of immortal rulers. These people are all from the background and confidence of Fenglai gate. The reason for this is not only related to the beauty of the female cultivators in Fenglai gate, but also to their martial arts. Female cultivators must learn dance and music, as well as be proficient in illusion and sound therapy. They can not only practice on their own, but also assist others in their cultivation. Can you be considered an auxiliary mage? This leads to many male cultivators wanting to marry female cultivators from Fenglai sect, but female cultivators from one sect cannot satisfy male cultivators from all over the mainland. As a result, they will have the initiative in choosing a spouse and have a lot of choices. It's not an exaggeration to ask for a woman from 100 families. Perhaps it is also because the female cultivators of Fenglai sect are too scarce, so everyone in the sect likes to invite people to join halfway and doesn't let go when they see beautiful women. It's really a strange doorstep. Oh, which junior sister is this from? Another female cultivator wearing a fiery red and dark gold patterned robe originally walked over, but Lang Biting paused when she saw Jiang You and looked at her. This person has a bright and flamboyant appearance, with a hint of heroism, a straight posture, but a slender waist that is not tight enough to grip. Not to mention that the male cultivator likes it, even Jiang You likes it when he sees it. Not to mention that they can also assist cultivators in their cultivation. After wiping the non-existent saliva from his mouth, Jiang Yu replied with a serious expression, "Hello senior sister, I am Miss Tong Yao. This Miss Jiang Yu belongs to the Tianji sect and wants to find Uncle Feng Su." The gatekeeper answered quickly, "I'll trouble you with this matter. What do you think?" She even squeezed her eyes as she spoke. "Sure, no problem. Sister Jiang, come with me and I'll guide you." "No need, I actually recognize." "Come here, you." Without hesitation, Jiang Yu's arm was grabbed by someone, and in despair, he slipped into the gate of Fenglai Gate, clinging to Tong Yao. It was really sneaking in because Jiang Yu felt like he hadn't even moved his legs and was completely pulled in by someone. Then, Jiang Yu was brainwashed by the magic sound. Tong Yao's mouth was like a machine gun, constantly praising the benefits of Fenglai men. "Our sect's thieves have money, really. Junior sister, as long as you enter the sect, you can choose from all kinds of magic weapons, just mind it. You see, our women are naturally soft, and with our unique dance and music, wouldn't it be even more beautiful? How about? Should we consider switching to our Fenglai Gate?" End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Illusion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Illusion. Jiang Yu covered her ears and sighed, "Senior sister, you better find someone else. I'm really not interested." "Why is this?" Tong Yao's mouth was dry and her tongue was dry. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yu was not moved at all and couldn't help but be surprised. Tianji sect is not as good as Fenglai sect in all aspects, and Jiang Yu's appearance is loved by all men. Once she switches to Fenglai sect, it will be much easier for her to find a successful husband. Maybe I prefer watching dance over dancing," Jiang Yu said. Tong Yao was stunned for a moment, then suddenly raised her eyes, as if she had a smile on her face. "Do you want to watch senior sister dance?" When she said the word dance, her ending suddenly shifted upwards, and her entire face underwent a significant change. The heroic spirit has completely disappeared, leaving only the enchanting and gorgeous between the eyebrows and eyes. It's just a seductive eye like silk. One of the unique skills of Fenglai sect, illusion. Fantasy is a big category, with stunning illusions that can make people lose their minds, invisible killing moves that kill invisibly, and even such enchanting spells that captivate the hearts of red fans. Many people think that the female cultivators of Fenglai sect are weak, just good-looking and can assist men in cultivation, but few people know how powerful their illusions are. Ordinary people don't have the chance to see them. These are just hearsay, but those who have actually seen their killing moves have long died, and there is no way to spread their terror. At this point, the illusion technique used by Tong Yao is the enchantment technique. Both men and women are somewhat obsessed and dazed when they see a peerless beauty, and Fenglai's enchantment has this magical power. Tong Yao planned well, but when Jiang Yu was briefly confused, he lured her to speak up and refused to believe her. Although agreeing and being able to back out doesn't really bring people to Fenglai Gate, it always shows her how powerful Fenglai Gate is. But to her surprise, when Tong Yao looked at Jiang Yu with such eyes, she found that the other person's eyes were clear and there was no sign of being confused by her. How could there ever be even a hint of obsession? "Jiang Yu, junior sister!" Tong Yao shouted with uncertainty. "Sister Tong, you looked really good just now." Jiang Yu gave a thumbs up and sincerely praised. Tong Yao was already beautiful, but just now she was all gentle and even more beautiful. Even Jiang You was a bit stunning. She never hesitates to praise beauties. But didn't you feel anything unusual just now? Tong Yao's face stiffened at the words, "There's something unusual, I feel like you're exceptionally beautiful, Sister Tong." Jiang You blinked. Tong Yao. She turned around and didn't want to talk to Jiang You. Jiang Yu didn't know why Tong Yao suddenly got angry, but she felt that even a beautiful woman with an angry face was good looking. "Senior sister, I have never seen you before. I wonder which garden's disciple you are from." Jiang Yu is looking for a topic. "I am a disciple of the Buddha Lotus Immortal Lord, living in the Chinsa garden," Tong Yao replied. Jiang Yu was taken aback and said, "Buddha Lotus Immortal Lord. My own master is a true lord, but Tong Yao's master is an immortal lord, and the difference is quite significant. It seems that this senior sister holds an extraordinary position in the Fenglai sect. It seems like I haven't heard of her name in the novel. What's wrong, you changed your mind and wanted to come to Fenglai men?" Tong Yao looked at her with a hint of hope. "That's not." "Then shut up." "Oh." Jiang Yu didn't dare to speak again. In a moment, Fengsu Zhenjuan's cave arrived. Fengsu Zhenjuan is the daughter of the head of Fenglai sect, ranking 6th in the family, so people who are familiar with her are called Fenglu. Fenglu and Jiang Yu's master, Ningxin Zhenjuan, met in a black market. At that time, the two of them fell in love with the same pot of Linglan. Although they had a slight displeasure during the bidding competition, they met each other and became close friends. Giving each other Linglan is a common practice for this pair of best friends, but it is because of this that their disciples have worked hard and need to frequently run errands to send flowers to their master. "Uncle Feng Su is here." Tong Yao stopped her steps. Every time Jiang Yu hears the word, "master uncle," he feels a bit uncomfortable. Shouldn't it be called Shirgu? Why do we call Shirshu regardless of gender? It's all the fault of that dog author. "Thank you, Senior Sister Tong, for leading the way." "You're welcome, you go ahead. By the way, let's exchange the communication stones first." "Okay." After exchanging the transmission stones, Jiang Yu stepped into the cave of Fengsu Zhenjuan. Behind her, Tong Yao did not immediately leave, just watched her walk in before turning around. But the confusion in his eyes did not dissipate. "Returning to the Chinsa garden, I saw my master, the Lotus Immortal Lord, lying in the courtyard reading a book. She was wearing a snow-white fairy dress, as light as mist and as ethereal as a fairy. Half of her hair was tied up in a bun, while the other half was scattered with green hair by the pillow. The beauty has fair skin, red lips, and eyes like glass. Her whole body is filled with a refreshing and pure aura that does not consume human smoke and fire. It is holy and pure, making people want to submit and worship when they see it. Buddha Lotus Immortal Lord, this name was given to her by her master, and it originated from her unique aura. Although she is a disciple of Fenglai sect, she seems like an inviolable heavenly maiden, forgetting her customs upon seeing her. Yao Er has returned. Make a pot of tea for me." Upon seeing her lover, Fo Lian extended her white wrist and waved. As her hand moved, her sleeve slipped off, revealing a snowy arm that resembled a painting. "I'll brew it later." "Master, I have something that I don't understand." Tong Yao and her master are as close as a mother and daughter, and they are also very casual when interacting. Sitting next to her master, she unconsciously played with her hair while frowning and saying what had just happened. "Are you saying that someone is not influenced by your illusions?" Fo Lian raised her eyebrows with some interest and said, "Is that person certain to be just an ordinary disciple, not a true ruler-level figure? He must be an ordinary disciple, looking like he's in the realm of condensed chi, he definitely wouldn't be a true ruler." Tong Yao was very certain. "This is strange. You should try becoming a teacher," said Fulian. Tong Yao agreed and then used the illusion technique she had just used to her master again. If Jiang You had been amazed when facing Tong Yao's illusions, then there was nothing left here in Fulian, calm and unmoved. No problem, not only has your cultivation not retreated, but you have also made progress and are not far from the 4th level, said Fulian. So, it doesn't make sense. The disciple has reached the realm of bone training, and the illusion technique has reached the 3rd level, even in the entire Fenglai gate, it is extremely excellent. But just now she used illusion on the disciples of the condensing Qi realm, but the other party didn't hit the target at all and remained clear-headed. This is a bit strange. Is it because she was on guard against me in advance? Tong Yao relaxed a bit after hearing her master's words and said her guess. As long as you don't regress on your own. God knows how cold her heart felt when she saw Jiang Yu's reaction just now. It's also possible that you'll find out by trying her again next time you see her. Remember, be more focused and don't underestimate anyone before using illusions. Fulian solemnly explained. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Linglu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Linglu, Zhenjun. This is the Ningxin fragrant orchid newly cultivated by my master. She has told me in every way that she must make me deliver it to you quickly, and she even said that you will definitely like it. Jiang You carefully took out the Ningxin xianglan and handed it to Fengsu Zhenjun. Ah, black and white, like ink and wash, it's really special. Feng Lujian was overjoyed and after sniffing it lightly, he became even more fond of it. Indeed, Ningxin is still powerful, and the orchids cultivated are unparalleled. Fengsu Zhenjun is very petite, not as tall as Jiang You, with a melon seed face that I still pity. She spoke like a bird, light and cheerful, like a young girl. Who knew she was already over 200 years old? If you really like it, it's good. I'll go back and tell my master, and she must be happy too. Jiang You smiled and said. Feng Su was about to nod, but felt strange and looked at Jiang You. She couldn't be called a fan of her friend's disciple before, and felt that she had a strange personality and sounded very tough when speaking. At first glance, she doesn't seem like a girl with a good temperament. However, due to her good friends, she still takes good care of Jiang You and treats her as a half-disciple, often giving gifts. But looking at her again today, it seems like there has been some change. One is his demeanor, and now Jiang You looks more natural and soft, with much less hostility between his eyebrows. Another way is the tone, as if she has become more intimate with herself. When she was looking at Jiang Yu, he was also looking at her. Master's good friend can truly be considered as a person of great affection and righteousness. In the plot, the master seeks revenge against Qin Xian but is killed in retaliation. The master either doesn't know that Qin Xian did it or is too lazy to seek justice for her, so after the incident happened, it was as quiet as a chicken without any reaction. The only one willing to seek clues to avenge her master is Fengsu Zhenjun, and even she almost died in the hands of Qin Xian. The reason why she managed to save her life in the end was because Fenglai's sect was particularly protective. When Fengsu was in danger, an elder of Fenglai's sect personally intervened to protect her, which saved her from Qin Xian's poisonous hands. But although his life can be saved, his cultivation is not much different from ordinary people. To be honest, Feng Su's calamity is also causally related to her own body. I have something else to make her happier. Feng Su withdrew her gaze and flipped her wrist, taking out a small jade bottle. Her most coveted Tianlu orchid plant has produced dew again. I had someone collect it for 3 months and only got such a small bottle. I haven't told her yet, just to give her this surprise today. Feng Su handed the jade bottle to Jiang Yu. Whether it's tea making, alchemy, or simply taking it, it can make the skin feel like jade and exhale like orchids. Tianlu Lan is a bao lan from Fenglai Gate. It comes from the perilous valley, absorbs the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and feeds back spiritual dew. But there is really too little Linglu, sometimes only 1 drop a day, sometimes not a drop, and even at most only 2 or 3 drops. These spiritual dews naturally belong to the head elder of Fenglai sect, and even Feng Su, who serves them, finds it difficult to obtain so much. Who is she a junior? Ningxin had long coveted Tianlin, but as an outsider, she couldn't go up close to see her. Even if Feng Su was the daughter of the sect leader, she couldn't help her. But now I have prepared such a bottle of spirit dew, and Master will definitely be extremely happy to know. Surprisingly, it's the spiritual dew of Tianlin. It's too precious. Feng Zhenjun, won't you keep some for yourself? Jiang You asked. Feng Su waved her hand and said, I am the person from Fenglai Men. Although it is valuable, I can still touch it, but it is difficult for her to obtain. Feng Su is most fond of taking care of spiritual grass and flowers, and her favorite is Lan. Tian Lulan, who comes to Feng's door, is usually entrusted to her for care. Because of this, coupled with her identity as the head of the sect, it is not difficult to obtain Linglu, but she put in some effort to gather such a bottle for Ningxin. I will definitely keep it carefully and hand it over to my master when I go back. Jiang You held the bottle carefully and withdrew his mustard bag, afraid of falling and hitting it. Her cautious appearance made Feng Su want to laugh and inexplicably developed a bit of affection. After thinking for a moment, he called for the attendant fan and said, Jiang You, go and have Zhenjun make a bowl of lotus heart soup for Xiao Yu to eat. Jiang You was a bit surprised and quickly stopped, Zhenjun, there's no need to trouble. In my impression, the original owner came to deliver things many times, but Feng Su seemed not very fond of her. Every time she finished delivering, she would go back. Feng Su would at most give her some small things as gifts, but that's just for the sake of her master Ningxin's face. This is the first time I've left her to eat like this. Just a bowl of soup, what's the trouble? Sit down. Feng Suchen gave her a glance. Jiang You also stayed behind. Fan Shi had already gone down, and when he saw no one beside him, Jiang You tentatively spoke up, Feng Zhenjun, I have a question. I wonder if it's presumptuous to ask. You first ask, if you're presumptuous, I won't answer. Feng Su is in a good mood, with a smile on her face. Every time I come, I encounter senior sisters from your sect who are particularly enthusiastic, Jiang You said. Are they just doing this because they want to recruit disciples for Feng's sect? Recruiting disciples should be something that the elders of the sect need to consider. It's unreasonable for disciples to be so focused. So their enthusiasm is really a bit strange. Oh, that one. Feng Su understood instantly, and a smile appeared on her lips. For every successful disciple, their sect rewards Feng Zhu by 100 more. Surprisingly, there is still a commission. Jiang You finally understood. Feng Zhu actually refers to the points accumulated by disciples of Fenglai sect. This kind of thing can be found in almost all major sects, but the names may vary. Disciples will receive point rewards by completing tasks or ranking in sect competitions. These points can be exchanged for techniques, elixirs, crystals. In short, they can be exchanged for many things. It is also equivalent to a currency circulating within a sect. Are they so passionate about attracting people? For the sake of their sect, it's secondary, and obtaining points is the ultimate goal. By the way, the senior sister I just met seems to have used illusions on me. Jiang You thought of Tong Yao and his expression moved slightly, describing what had happened earlier. In order to lure you into the sect, he even used illusions on you. Feng Su couldn't help but laugh and cry. This is a bit excessive, so you must have been hit, right? Jiang You remained calm and said, was he hit? Well, as a senior sister, your cultivation level is definitely higher than yours, so you have to have 2 or 3 levels in illusion. Once released, you will definitely sink into it and be influenced by her. Feng Su nodded. Illusion technique 2 or 3. Jiang You knows that the highest level of illusion in Fenglai sect is 10, but in reality, it is very difficult to cultivate. Nowadays, the most powerful person in the sect has only reached 7 levels. End of this chapter. What was said wrong in chapter 8? You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. What was said wrong in Chapter 8? But Jiang You also knows that illusions are increasingly difficult to break through, especially after the 5th level, which is like a heavenly pit. Unless one has extraordinary qualifications, it is difficult to achieve. Well, one of Qin Xian's beauties seems to be the one with extraordinary talent, not only reaching the 5th level, but also surpassing all the existing predecessors of the Phoenix sect, becoming a genius that is rare to encounter for 1,000 years. Think about it, it seems that the female characters who follow the male lead will also receive halo bonuses and other adventures because of following him. However, Jiang You pursed his lips in his heart. The male lead's aura is a bonus for himself, making things incredibly smooth. Every adventure can help him take it further. But the aura of those female leads is not a bonus given to them, but will also be transferred to the male lead. But they themselves seem to be in all sorts of difficulties, always encountering difficulties. At critical moments, the male lead will step forward to solve their difficulties for them, and at the same time, they will also encounter adventures. Then, the male lead takes the lead, and the female leads share some soup to drink. In fact, those female leads were originally excellent people. If it weren't for provoking the male lead, they wouldn't have encountered so many setbacks, and even those adventures would have fallen on themselves. The male lead seems to have come over to share a share of the pie. Zhenjun, can you only resist the illusion of 2 or 3 levels when you reach the bone training realm? Jiang You regained his senses and asked curiously. The bone training realm can block the double, but the triple can be a bit difficult. In fact, to combat illusion, one depends on cultivation, and the other depends on soul power. Fenglai pointed to his forehead, which is your spiritual power. That is to say, even in the realm of condensed qi, as long as my soul power is high enough, I can still resist illusions. Jiang Yu's heart moved. Fenglai chuckled lightly and said, "What are you thinking? A cultivator in the condensing qi realm has no soul power to speak of. Only after reaching the Shajin realm in the 4th realm can they truly possess soul power. In the early stages, one will refine their body, and in the middle stages, they will refine their spirit. Only after entering the middle stage, which is the 4th realm, can one truly perceive the essence of soul power." Jiang You frowned. After tasting the lotus heart soup, Fenglai also gave Jiang You some small things, such as spirit fruits, before letting her leave. As soon as Jiang You left the cave, he put on a curtain hat again, which allowed him to smoothly leave the Phoenix Gate without being watched by his senior sisters again. It was also at this moment that she received a message from her master. "Xiao Yu, before you come back, please bring me a pot of fruit and clear wine from Fenglai City. It's still that one, don't buy it wrong." Jiang Yu replied and walked towards Fenglai City. Every city will have a marketplace, which is a large market used for monks to trade items. These markets have merchants as well as monks who come to sell their personal belongings. In addition to the neighborhood markets in the city, there will also be neighborhood markets near each sect, and everything will be more complete. Jiang Yu walked towards the wine cellar while wondering about Tong Yao's senior sister. Tong Yao's illusion technique has at least 2 layers, so it can be said that confusing herself as a cultivator in the 2nd realm with only the 2nd realm of condensed qi is no easier. The original master's physical aptitude was mediocre, and he had not practiced any other martial arts besides normal cultivation. Moreover, Fenglai also said that there was no soul power in the early stage of cultivation. But why is it that in this situation, Sister Tong's illusion cannot take effect on herself? Jiang You couldn't help but recall the situation at that time. At that time, the temperament of Sister Tong in her eyes had changed, and she looked more beautiful, but there was no more feeling besides that. What kind of confusion and illusion are there at all? Why is this? This fairy, what do you want? Oh, a pot of fruit wine. Okay, thank you for your patronage. 80 inferior crystals. After giving the money and putting away the wine, Jiang You left the tavern and planned to return to the teleportation array. But as soon as I came out, I saw many people gathered in front of the strange goods store, as if queuing up. Shopkeeper, could you please ask, what was that doing? Jiang Yu stopped the shopkeeper and asked. Oh, a little fragrance has been very popular lately. It's probably because new products have arrived today, so I'm rushing to buy them. The shopkeeper explained and went to work. A little fragrance. Jiang Yu remembered, as if there was something mentioned in the novel. A little fragrance is a newly developed spice by an alchemist from Yundao, a sect. As it is newly developed, it is still somewhat unstable in various aspects. Therefore, during its initial launch, the price was very cheap, and only 20 crystals were needed to buy a bottle. But it seems that less than a month later, some people discovered that this kind of spice, which has been smelling for a long time, can help concentrate and cultivate. As a result, the price of a little fragrance skyrocketed, and even 200 crystals were difficult to buy after the supply exceeded demand. Calculating the time, the current fragrance should have just emerged, and it must have been less than a month. So, can we pick a leak? Jiang Yu was tempted, so he took a step and planned to go and stock up on some goods. The current price is so suitable, whether she buys it for her own cultivation or as a gift, it is very good. Excuse me, I need 100 bottles. As soon as she arrived at Jiang Yu, her words made everyone look at her. Others only buy 2 or 3 bottles, with a maximum of 5 bottles. She poured it, there were 100 bottles as soon as she came up. 100 bottles, the guy confirmed and asked. Yes, 100 bottles. It's just 100 bottles. She has money. There is a lot of money to collect wool from the male lead, and Jiang Yu is not greedy anymore. Otherwise, she can ask for more. Okay, wait a moment. Although the guy felt strange, he didn't think much and started counting 100 bottles. Jiang Yu looked aimlessly around while waiting, and upon seeing it, he discovered a sword. That sword is hanging on the wall, and there are several other weapons next to it, but only this sword is extraordinary. It seems that there is a faint golden light shining through. Could you please bring me that sword for a look, Jiang Yu said. Okay. The guy struggled to count 100 bottles, but amidst his busy schedule, he handed her the sword and continued to bury his head in the counting. Jiang Yu looked at the sword and found that its appearance was ordinary, just an ordinary black-edged sword without even a scabbard. And its golden light doesn't know where it comes from, making it look particularly different. Why is this sword made of gold? Is it made of any special material? Jiang Yu didn't understand, and the original owner clearly didn't have any knowledge about alchemy, so she casually asked the assistant. Unexpectedly, just as she finished asking, people around her, including her colleagues, looked at her with a strange look. Jiang Yu. She was confused for a moment and said. Did I say something wrong? Why are you looking at her like this? This sword is black, said the guy. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Being robbed on the street. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Why not try the sword? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Why not try the sword? Why lure yourself out of the city? That's naturally because fighting is prohibited inside the city, while private fights outside the city are left unattended. As long as the noise is not so loud as to disturb the city, no one will interfere, no matter how much they try. So for the cultivation world, the area outside the city is a place where burning, killing, and looting often occur, and it is not really a good place to go. Jiang Yu was not unaware, but she followed without hesitation. Jiang Yu didn't say a word, and the man Xiu became even more proud of himself. It seems you understand now. That's just right. Let's make a choice. Whether to take the initiative to remove the owner, save your life, or let me kill you, and then your mustard bag will automatically remove the owner. I won't choose either. Jiang Yu held his black sword and said coldly, it's better to die than lose money. Look at the trick, you dog thief. The little cultivator in the condensing chi realm dares to confront himself with a tough opponent in the bone training realm. Even if he is only in the bone training realm where he has been drugged and his realm is floating, it is not something that a cultivator in the condensed chi realm can ignore. Taking out a 3-ring big sword from his mustard bag, the male cultivator raised his sword and attacked with a cold face, and as he was about to approach, he chopped towards Jiang Yu's head. Who wants to confront you head on? Jiang Yu had already used a health talisman for himself when he came over. Eggs cannot be placed in the same basket, and she naturally knew this truth. Therefore, even before she knew she was about to leave, she had already taken out a small amount of things and put them in her sleeve, not all of them in the mustard bag. But these things are very small in quantity, just the ones she collected as a backup. There are only 2 talismans, 1 crystal ticket, and 1 pill each for treating internal injuries. However, apart from this health talisman, none of these things are of any use at this time. After the illness symbol was attached to the body suddenly became much lighter. Jiang Yu took a few steps back and avoided the head-on blow from Nan Xiu, while the sword in his hand stabbed towards Nan Xiu's neck. Coincidentally, I have just entered a new sword. If I want to try out its function as soon as possible, there is nothing more useful than a real sword in a fight. Master Ningxin is fond of raising flowers, but in fact, she is a useless warrior and doesn't know much about weapon materials. Asking her is also pointless. But other people in the sect, Jiang Yu can't believe it either. Everyone knows each other, and if she dares to ask, if this sword is really a treasure, it's hard to guarantee that those senior teachers will take advantage of their status and quietly take action. She doesn't believe anyone in the entire sect except for her master. Since there will be this battle today, why not give it a try with the sword? Humph, beyond measure. The male cultivator flipped his wrist and the back of his sword collided with Jiang Yu's sword, making a clanging sound. Jiang Yu only felt a huge tremor in her wrist, and the sword in her hand almost flew away in response. Fortunately, she grabbed it firmly enough, which saved her weapon. The male cultivator's gaze was gloomy, filled with a chilling killing intent. When the two were close, they almost rushed towards Jiang Yu with overwhelming force. Jiang Yu lived in a peaceful era, when did he face such a strong killing intent? At that moment, her cold sweat seeped down, her scalp tingled, and her body's instinctive fear almost stiffened her body for an instant. This is simply the crushing of the realm, and it is also a huge gap in malice between both sides. But Jiang Yu did not let himself lose consciousness. She can even remain indifferent to the illusion of a beauty, let alone the ugly man Xiu in front of her. Little killing intent, can't hold me down. While the illness talisman was still in effect, Jiang Yu stumbled and dodged on her side. Although her figure was a bit disheveled, fortunately, the knife wielded by Nan Xiu only cut through the fabric around her waist. Furthermore, the curtain hat on her head was finally unable to be held, entangled by the ring on the knife and pulled to the ground. As the curtain fell and blocked his eyes, the man's eyes flashed fiercely, and he launched a sweeping attack on Jiang Yu's lower abdomen. This time, Jiang Yu couldn't avoid it. Hiss. She fell heavily to the ground with a thud, and the sharp pain in her calves made her feel as if she had been broken. It's all because of this damn curtain hat. She's quite a beauty, it's a pity. The male cultivator grinned and was not tempted by Jiang Yu's face at all. Likes beauty. He has already gone through that stage. Raising his knife, he slashed towards Jiang Yu's heart. Jiang Yu gritted his teeth and flipped over on the spot before standing up. Holding the sword in hand and thrusting back, Nan Xiu swiftly dodged and hit her chest with a palm. While running the martial arts, Jiang Yu struggled to cope. He clenched his new black sword and relied on the illness body talisman to support it, but he kept wanting to use methods such as stabbing and slashing to test its effectiveness. But so far, her sword has not touched even a corner of her opponent's clothes, and she has collided with their swords several times. Just. Even if it was a collision, the knife of the male cultivator was still unscathed. This makes Jiang You puzzled in every way. Is the golden light of this sword just visually appealing? How come it has no power at all? When he was in a hurry, the male cultivator slapped him again. He doesn't know if it's intentional or just for attacking the key points, or he doesn't slap. Once he slaps, it will be against Jiang Yu's left chest, and the move is extremely insidious. Jiang You slid to the left again, and when he touched the tree trunk at the corner of his clothes, he lightly jumped and lightly tapped the tree body with his toes. At the same time, he used his sword to stab Nan Xiu's face. This sword is bound to strike empty like before. Jiang You knew he had no ability to harm the opponent, let alone kill them, so as long as he could repel the opponent's killing move, it was good. The male cultivator only lightly turned his head, without any intention of hiding his body. With a sharp turn of his sword, he slashed towards Jiang Yu's waist. Jiang Yu is already panting like an ox, and can accurately feel that the health talisman seems to be about to expire. She struggled to twist her body and didn't let the knife strike hard, but her arm was injured again during the process of dodging. This excruciating pain twisted her face. Jiang Yu was wearing a light blue robe today, but at this moment, everywhere was either cut or stained with blood, looking very embarrassed. Especially on her arms, due to the amount of fabric cut, her arm's skin was exposed in a large white area. However, it was also stained with blood. "Dog thief, look at the sword." Suddenly, Jiang Yu shouted loudly, so loud that it sounded a bit loud. This sword, she actually stabbed towards a crucial point below the man. The man finally showed his true colors for the first time, his gaze fixed on Jiang Yu's sword tip, and he wanted to do something to avoid it. At this moment, Jiang Yu's left hand touched the wooden hairpin in his hair, and his spiritual energy surged towards it, definitely. With this sound, the male cultivator in front of her seemed to have been given an immobilization talisman, and the person had already froze without any movement. Jiang Yu had a fierce expression in his eyes, holding a long sword in his hand. Without hesitation, he lightly moved the tip of the sword and stabbed the opponent's abdomen in just 1 second. The male cultivator seemed to have widened his eyes, but it didn't seem to matter anymore. As Jiang Yu drew his sword, he also leaned back and fell to the ground with a bang, startling up a cloud of dust. Jiang Yu sat on the ground powerless, feeling his heart beating like a drum, and his whole body was in a daze. End of this chapter.